take care of some other stuff and make sure that I can invite the So Much Talent Facebook group over in here. So hopefully that'll get you all in. All right. So as I mentioned just a few minutes ago, I mentioned to my Instagram and Facebook folks is that I was coming live just to hang out here for a little bit. It's been a while. So hopefully you can come in, stick around for a little bit. My name is Alethea, and I am the creator and founder of So Much Talent. And I just randomly pop up sometimes and just go along live. All right. So I'll give it a few minutes and wait for you guys to get in here while I just kind of straighten up a little bit. And if you're new to my channel, just say hi and let me know where you're watching from. Just going to make sure all messages are visible. I see there are a couple of you on already. I wanted to talk to you about my dress over here too. I mentioned this earlier today. Whoop! Mentioned this earlier today on Instagram. Hey, Jacqueline. Thank you so much for joining me over here, keeping me company. All right. So I mentioned this dress earlier today. It's a dress that I quickly sewed up for church Sunday. Went for Mother's Day service. Well, it wasn't Mother's Day service. This happened to be Mother's Day, and I went. So, but that's what I made up. All right. So I see a few of you are in. If you're in and you are in a place where you can say hello, and let me know where you're watching from. Jacqueline, are you up sewing tonight? I gotta clear this off. I'm gonna tell you a story about this. I had to use this weekend to help me measure the hem on my skirt, and it actually worked. It actually worked. Can you all hear me okay? Just cleaning up some loose ends. You stuck in the Houston traffic? Oh no. It sounds like the Atlanta traffic, which I hate. I don't like going to Atlanta. I live 2 hours away. But whenever I go up there, that traffic is crazy. I don't ever want to get like hear people stuck in traffic for like 2 hours at a time. Ooh, no. Give me the outskirts anywhere. But I pray you be safe and you get home as quickly as possible. All right, y'all. I am not one of those that go ahead and they can just have stuff all tidy and neat and ready. I try to get myself cleaned up, but a lot of times I'll be sewing until my eyes about to pop out my head. I know that's not funny, but that's how I'll be sewing sometimes. All right, so the last time I came on, I never made it over to the Facebook side. And I told y'all today that hello to everybody that's watching. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit the like buttons if you can, and share this out if you will, if you don't mind. If you would be so kind as to share this out, and also leave a comment. All right, so hi, bye. All right, so I was saying earlier that I was working on a couple of projects, but I was working on an outfit that I was trying to make. I was doing a m- wearable muslin inside the So Much Talent Facebook group, and I thought I was going to share that video here on YouTube. No, y'all, I do not like the way I look, y'all. So that's do not. So I'm what's in the group is gonna stay in the group. So I hope you're a part of the group. All right. Jacqueline said I learned a new sewing technique for fitting called stitch line sewing. All right, so I have to look that up unless that name is the same as something else. All right, stitch line sewing. You have to explain that one to me. But I was working on trying to copy. Not trying to. I am going to make that suit that Zendaya, or replication of the suit Zendaya wore during the Met Gala on the red carpet. So if you haven't seen it, go check it out. Just Google Zendaya white suit and it'll pop up, I'm sure. But I was going to use patterns that I had here in my own stash without having to go purchase anything. And I was going to use, as a matter of fact, Simplicity posted, I saw it on Mimi G's timeline, on her storyline, um, but she posted what Simplicity shared as options for these Met Gala looks. And so they posted this one for the Zendaya look and also this one for the vest. So I had this one already, didn't have this one. Wasn't until just recently that I made probably maybe my last trip to Joann's. But it just happened to be sitting on the countertop. I didn't mention that part earlier today on Instagram, but it just happened to be sitting on the countertop when I went to go look at patterns. I didn't go in Joann's looking for patterns. I was in there looking for something specifically, and I just thought while I'm waiting at the counter, cutting counter, let me just go over there and see what the discounts are for patterns right now. So, and I just thought I just kind of peek my head over there and see what was in there. Didn't go through the drawers, but it was sitting right on top. And usually when patterns are sitting on top, they're not my size. Like they're smaller sizes, and they're everything but my size. But this happened to be my size, at least mostly. It's mostly. But so anyway, I grabbed it because I said, you know what? Work hard, work smarter, not harder. So, but what I intended to do and what I started doing was I did cut this vest out and I cut it out in a fabric that I am going to use. I dubbed as a wearable muslin because it comes out looking like I want it to. I'm going to wear it anyway. But I made the vest, cut it out, and there were some things I want to make adjustments on with that, and I'll talk about those later. And I had this pattern already in my stash, which I like the cut of it. Same cut, just needed to extend it, make it longer. So if you look at this line drawing for the pants, and you look at the line drawing on these pants, you'll see that they're very similar. There's some differences, but they're very similar. So I was going to use this pants, which I did cut this out in the wearable muslin. I'll show those to you later. Um, they came out okay. There were some adjustments that I need to make, uh, tweak on the pattern that I adjusted. So I talked about earlier today that when you sew, learn your body and know your adjustments that you need to make because they're pretty much basically going to be the same, whatever you have to do. Just because of your body, how it's made, how it's shaped. I'm not talking about the weight. I'm not talking about when you add on weight, when you lose weight, but the structure of your body. Like me, I have sloping shoulders, I have a sway back, I have hips. Those are things that are not going to go away, right? So know your body, know your basic adjustments. I have a short waist, neck to waist length. So I always have to make those adjustments. But when it comes to the pants, I also always have to make full butt adjustments and a sway back adjustment and crotch length adjustments. The, s- the sway back adjustment is what I didn't address when I did this muslin pattern. And so all that means is that I needed to take I lengthened the waist for the hips, but I did not take it in the back to make it draw closer to my back. That makes sense. So basically, and then of course, I had to lengthen the pattern. So the pattern will look crazy, but once it's fitted and everything, it's going to fit right because it's adjusted for my body. So this was me lengthening the crotch area, and I lengthened it probably about an inch or 3/4 of an inch. Yeah, I wrote it down here, 3/4 of an inch. And that's all I needed for the front. Usually I only have to add about maybe a half an inch or an inch to the front. on most things. Very few instances where I don't. The back is a whole different story. A whole different story. So, whew, these are my adjustments for the back. And I think I've talked about this once before, but I generally have to add about 1.5 inches, 2 inches to increase the length of the butt area. So that'll give me more room for my butt to sit in. I'm sorry, for it to cover my butt. That's to cover my butt. So that means that when I make this adjustment right here, when I sit down, I'm not having a gap in the back, and you're not seeing my butt crack. Just to keep it plain and simple. All right. But if this wasn't here, when I sit down, my butt would take up most of the fabric, and it would bring the waistline down low on my back. So this keeps that from happening. However, it does not address the full butt issue. Like, so I have a wide butt. All right. So this right here allows, it also coincides with this and helps this because the crotch length is what I need in order to give me more room up here. So I have to adjust all of this. And so because I have to add so much into it, I have to do it in a couple of places. Well, actually about 2 or 3 places. So I lengthen it here, and I needed to add, I think, about 4.5 inches. So I did some here, and then I had to add some in the seam allowance. Okay, in the inseam allowance, I have to add, I think it was 3/4 of an inch here. It looks like a little bit more that I had to add here. Looks like about 1.75 inches probably that I had to add here. And I also had to scoop this out. Okay. So because my butt is not flat, right? And it's not narrow, but I got a lot of hips back there that's got to sit down somewhere. So if I don't cut this out right here, then I'm gonna have a wedgie. All right, so this gives my butt room to sit in, right in that crotch area. Otherwise, it's gonna be too short right in here, and that's where the wedge comes from. So that helped. And then once I scoop this out a little bit, then I have to make sure that I have enough width right in here. So then I have to go back in and add this in here. Okay. And then of course lengthen it. So, but with this, because I didn't have enough fabric for my pants, I had just enough to make the pants just like the pattern is designed for. So my pants are short, and I wish I had, oh, here they are right here. I can show you what they look like. If you were in the So Much Talent group, then you saw me try them on. So there's still adjustments that need to be made. This pattern did not have enough, this pattern wasn't tapered enough at the leg. Although, and you can kind of see it a little bit here. Like this is a tailored pants, but you can see it's not as tailored and tapered at the leg, right in the thigh area, and then bails out. I want to really look like it was bailed out. So you'll see here that I have it pinned, um, where I need to taper this in. Some of the pins have come out. I need to taper it in a little bit more. I'm only going to taper it in to the thigh part and then bring it back out so it will really bail, do a little bell bottom right there. And then also in the back, everything else fit really good. The zipper came in. I did a fly front zipper that came out. That turned out really good. Got my zipper in there. I just need to take this in the back seam. Well, actually, I did take it in the back seam just a little bit, and I tapered the darts in a little bit more so it'll draw the pants closer to my back. But the width of it, the height of it is right where it needs to be. So when I sit down, you're not going to see anything extra back there. All right. So I left that, and that's where I am for right now. Now, get into this. Just kind of give me a brief up to date on where I am and with my sewing process. I wanted something to wear, something different to wear to church Sunday. And as a sewist, we always want to wear what we made, right? My husband did buy me something because he already always know that I'm scrambling for time, and I don't always have time to sew for myself. It's kind of like a hairdresser. You don't always have time to make your hair fly and do all the things you need to do. And nail technician don't always have time to get her nails done. Same thing with a sewist when I'm sewing for other people. So I I was going to wear what he bought me, but we both agreed we didn't like it. So he's going to take that back and find something else. But I did stay up. I found this fabric. This was the fabric I mentioned earlier today um, on IG. This was, I believe the maker of this fabric is Draper James that I got at Joann's. And all the fabric at the time, this was last week sometime, it was like 60% off. I think it was Friday. Friday I bought this. The fabric was 60% off. And it was the only print of the Draper James collection that was left. And I was eyeing this. I had been eyeing it for a while, but it stayed at like 30%, then 40%. And so I left it, but it was there. So I got it. But anyway, I thought the outfit that he bought me was a blue, had blues in it, yellows in it, and he had pulled out something blue and yellow to wear. So I thought, you know what? I bought this fabric and maybe I bought it just for this reason, right? So I got it and I said, well, let me find a really quick dress, something that's quick that I can make, that I'll be comfortable in, that I would like. And it's something that's easy to wear. And so I came across this as I was going through my uh, pattern stash. I didn't know that I had all the pieces to it. Because usually, if I make something, sometimes I use them as blocks. I'll cut them up. And instead of me throwing the pattern away, I, for whatever reason, tuck it away. But this actually had all the pieces in it. This is Butterick 5837. It's an oldie but good. It came out in like 2012. And I made it. I made one for myself before, and I also made one for another lady. Um, I made this dress to speak at a women's empowerment conference. Um, and when I wore that dress, I had a lot of compliments on it. One of the ladies there wanted one that was very similar to it. So I made her one. But anyway, I found the pattern and I thought, you know what, that would be quick and easy to make. I can do that. I won't be up all night long sewing. And I love the lines of it. Only thing I did differently was cut it shorter, cut it to below the knee. But it only has four pattern pieces. It has the front, the back, front top, back top, and then it has the front skirt and the back skirt. The only thing that's lined is self-lined is the top, and it was super easy. Oh, I'm sorry, it has five pieces because it has the ties. All right, but super easy to make. I did cut a size 16 out because it's a knit, and usually patterns require me to either do like a 18 in the tops or 22, I think, in the bottoms. But because this was a knit, I knew that that would be a little big, and I'm glad I stuck to my guns, so to speak. um, I did mention earlier the only adjustment that I had to make was the I mentioned earlier today that I have sloping shoulders. Like I don't have shoulders that sit straight up like this, but they slope like that. And so if I make something and I don't have shoulder pads in it, it tends to either do this number right here, it causes a line or crease, crinkle right there at the shoulder, or I have to go in and take up maybe about a half an inch. Okay. So this was no different. So I had to go in, and my husband noticed it, and he said, "Well, are your sleeves supposed to stick out like that?" Well, no. Where'd the pattern go? Oh, here it is right here. So if you notice on here, her sleeve lays mesh to her arm. on here too. It kind of goes downward. So mine was just kind of sticking out just like that. So I went in and I did go in and take about maybe a half an inch, maybe 3/4 of an inch seam allowance out of the sleeve right there, tapered it back in up to the shoulder. Now, what I didn't realize, like if you notice, this still seems to stick out. I don't know if you can see that. This side still seems to kind of stick out like that. Well, one shoulder sits lower than the other one. So I'll have to do a little bit of extra on the other one. And I completely forgot that part of it. I just did the same thing on both shoulders. So this one, this one is scooped out. But this one I need to go in just a little bit more and pin that out. So I did take a picture with me wearing this, so I'll share it. Um, but can you kind of see the difference now? When I take just maybe a quarter of an inch seam allowance out, it makes a big difference. And if you're saying something, I can't. All right. So I don't know if it's the comments are okay. But anyway, that was the only thing I needed to do. It came together very quickly. And then the back of it, I love the back. Has a little scooped out back and it ties in the back. So it's really easy. Um, and what I did was because, of course, it's just me here. And one of my issues is because I have a sway back or a tootie booty, however you want to call it. And I don't know if that's politically correct to say on these social media streets, but a tootie bum bum. I sometimes, if I don't make the correct adjustments, then the hem of my skirts will jack up in the back. Like it'll be higher in the back and longer in the front. So this is what I did was I took my chalk skirt chalk marker and adjusted it to the length that I wanted my skirt, and I just moved all around the skirt marker. I set the skirt marker in place where it needed to be, and I just kind of turned and pivoted so that I could mark the hem of my skirt where it needed to be. Now, funny thing, before I did that, I asked, both my husband and my son, should I keep it long, keep the dress long, or should I shorten it? But my husband was like, he was scared to say, depending on my reaction. My son, right off the bat, he's gonna be honest with me and tell me the truth. So he told me, he said, kind of look like a nightgown. I was like, okay, I'm wearing this dress though. So I shortened it, and it looked much better. Didn't look like a nightgown. So I'm happy with the outcome of it, and I would definitely be making more of these dresses. They're super easy to make. But with all that aside, instead of me going back to the Zendaya white suit, instead of me using what I used, the pants, I'm gonna probably transfer the markings over to this pattern. I'm gonna go ahead and try my hand at this suit. I know I've done all that markups on this pattern and tissue fitted and everything, and it looks good. I'll just transfer the markings to this pattern. Just measure it out and make sure. But the suit, the jacket is already here. The pants are already here. Um, and I already have the vest. These are the two patterns that Simplicity recommended for that Zendaya suit. Can't remember the shirt or the blouse that they recommended, but I have this one here that I'm going to use. And this was the jacket pattern that I was going to use. And you see it already has the patch pockets on it, but I was just going to have to work a little bit harder because this is a double-breasted jacket and not a single-breasted jacket. So now I don't have to do all of that. So I'm going to put these aside. I even thought about using MEG's Simplicity pattern here because of the fit. That is almost basically the fit of it, maybe not as snug, not as fitted, but that's the look with the bell bottom pants that I want to achieve. So I'll just have to probably taper those in like I want them to. All right. But tonight I'm here because I am working on a young lady's birthday dress. Her birthday is actually this weekend. Her mom, they had moved it up, or we're going to move it up, and they decided to keep it at the original date. And I've got to transform it into the look that she saw, her inspiration look she saw online. So that's what I'm here to do. And I may not be here long. Um, I'll just explain what I'm planning on doing with it so that I can get started. So you guys still hanging out with me, or did you all disappear? Can you all hear me okay? I'm gonna be very honest with y'all. One of the reasons I don't do a lot of live videos, and sometimes it maybe depending on, let's see what time it is, 7:32. Depend on the time of day, I guess, that I come in. Um, I don't get a lot of feedback. And y'all, I'm gonna be very honest. I don't like talking to myself. I don't. I do not like talking to myself. So that's why I don't do a whole lot of videos. I don't come in too often. Um, because I know that what I'm sharing is relevant. And if it's not, I'm cool with that too. And I'm trying to put my pattern pieces away. I do know a lot of folks that watch, they're on a different time zone. So if I come in a little bit later, um, then they'll probably come in. You still there, Miss Jacqueline? Good. So what I'm doing is I'm putting the pieces up that I was working on, and I'll go back to those. I'm also testing out a new, well, I won't say new, this is a temporary resolve. On the last video that I did, the last YouTube video I did, I had somebody to say that I needed a directional USB something, and I also needed a tack screw. I don't know what that was. I don't know if they were trying to be funny or they were trying to be helpful. But I did realize on that video you could hardly hear me. So hopefully they were trying to be helpful and not petty. Um, so I have this mic that I've had for a while. The only thing is it's not a Bluetooth mic. It's not a wireless mic. So I have to be very careful where I go um, in this video. Like I can't move around a whole lot. So I'm gonna swivel you around a little bit this way so you can kind of see what I'm doing. All right. So I did show you the dress. Um, this is and you can see it's kind of sheer, and it's giving that Tiana, Princess Tiana vibe. But what she wanted, the vision that she saw, or the inspiration picture that she saw, actually has a corset back. It laces up in the back with ties. And so this dress zips up the back. So I don't know if you can see that. So I've got it pinned to how much it needs to open up. So I'm going to open up the dress now. It zips up on her fine, but in order for it to have a corset, it needs to open up where it won't close. Does that make sense? I need to cut away fabric so that when I put the corset in there, it'll lace up just right where it's not closing up too much. Okay. Hey, the purple one, how art thou? You at work watching, mostly listen. I'll watch the live again later. All right, it's good to see your presence. Thank you for those of you that are in here. Thank you so much for coming in. All right, so I've got it marked to where it needs to be, how wide it needs to be open. I'm going to take the zipper out. The fabric according to the inspiration picture, the corset panel, the laces, and the big bow in the back are a little bit different in color than the actual dress is. So I did find fabric at Janky Joe's, and that's mostly what I'm gonna miss about Joanne's presence. So they were like 5 minutes away, and if I needed something in a pinch, I mean, y'all know they're Janky Joe's to me. But in a pinch, if I needed something and they had it, they were there where I could get it. That wasn't always the case. So I'm gonna go ahead and open this up. I need my not gonna stay on here too long because I know y'all don't like long videos either. So I'm in the process of learning how to properly edit videos, what right systems to use to do that. Just got me another laptop so I can do a little bit more stuff, but I had to find the time. Like like my time last month, the month of April, I was swamped with prom, cotillion, and but from the month of mid-March to the end of April, I was swamped with prom, cotillion, weddings, and I had said that this month, the month of May, took a month off from my business. But you see what I'm doing, right? See what I'm doing? So, and basically, a lot of this is stuff that I had already. I didn't take on any new work. I took on two new pieces. One was out of desperation, y'all. And I got a big old soft heart, but it was a small project. The one was, but this young lady came today. She was, I knew she might come back. It was a possibility she would come back, but she had to grapple with the price of her alterations and see if she was willing to pay the cost for altering her wedding gown. It's a good little bit of stuff that needed to be done, and they were on a budget, but she had to go figure all of that out. And she finally decided. She called me back up a few days ago and said that she was going to go ahead and move forward with the alterations. And so I made allowances for her to come back in. But outside of that, I closed all my appointments off on my website. And anybody now that's asked me for appointments, I just tell them I'm not available. Um, Plus, I am taking a vacation. I know, right? So much for the month off. But it's not so bad because I'm not stressed and pressured. Um, Mostly I'm doing pickups now. So stuff that I've already had, they're mostly like pickups. So I'm not taking on stuff because people call you at the last minute, need rush jobs and gotta have it now, and they'll book appointments. I've had to actually refund some appointments on occasion just because I didn't have the time and just refunded their money. So they have to find somebody else to get it done. But like I say, what I did this time was blocked off appointments. I did leave 1 week open, and I don't know why I did. I did it, and I think I did it because I kept her appointment because her event is later on in the year, maybe like a couple of months away or something like that. So, and that was one of the reasons why I left that one particular day open. That's next week because I can take a few appointments if the event is far off. That way, that won't totally cut off my income. That makes sense. So, but outside of that, I have the one wedding gown that I'll be starting on that is I'm sorry, not April, October wedding. And this gown is gonna be massive. This wedding gown I'm actually creating from scratch. It's no alterations or anything, but when I tell you it's massive, it's a big one. So, but it's all good. I'll get it done. It's gonna require a lot of fabric because it's got all these layers of ruffles and yeah, it's gonna be big. All right, so this right here, I'm gonna cut the bodice back. The bodice is the upper part of the gown. Like if you have the skirt that attaches to the top part. For those of you that don't know, now for a lot of you that have been sewing, you know the difference between a bodice and the skirt. Um, but what I'm focused on is cutting the bodice back, and then I will just undo the lace like this. I don't know if you can see it. So you can see right here where I have the pins marked. So this is where I'm going to have to cut back um, the bodice part of it, so that when I put the corset on, I'll add loops on. You'll see the loops. You'll see the crisscrossing of the loops. But otherwise, if you just try to take the zipper out and then you add a panel in the back, you're not going to show the laces. They're just going to close up like this, and you just did all that work for nothing. But need to be able to have space for that corset panel to be able to see the ties. That you can lace them up and pull them, but you don't want to pull them so tight that you can't see the beauty of the laces. And right here at the bottom, I'm going to have to lift up some of those appliques, and I'm just going to gather the rest of this back to this point behind where I need to open it up at. So that's how I'll handle that part of it. There's a piece of boning in one of these. Might just have to move it past the boning. Yeah, there's a piece of boning. And that boning is sandwiched in between the layers. Yeah, the gown that I just did, know that I did two prom gowns. I have a picture of one of them, um, but the other one that I spent a whole lot of work on, um, she hasn't sent me a picture yet. Well, actually, I have a picture of her, but not on her prom night. So that was a lot of work in that dress. It was another inspiration picture. She saw a dress online and wanted it. All right, so what I'm going to do here, just got to make sure I can open this up without damaging any of this lace back here. Let's see how I can open it up. I'll go ahead and open this inside first, inside lining, and that's going to get me started. So open it enough so when I get ready to sew the seams back, this lining won't be in the way. So I've got that part done. Um, Scary part about working with undoing tool is that you don't want to you want to tear or break the tool and you can't recover from it. Good thing about this on this end is that I don't need any of this part of it, but I do need to get rid of this part. So I'm going to grab my seam ripper. It's gonna be tricky. I just only need to separate where the seams are. And whatever the applique is that's overlapping the seam, I just need to cut clear through it. Anybody doing any sewing tonight? Thank you for the likes. I appreciate it. So it's allowing me to break through. It's going to get to that applique. The applique is the lace, sequin lace piece there. It's going to allow me to get as far as that point. And it's almost like there's a piece of tulle sandwiched over the lace. And I can't see where they attached it. I think it's attached with the clear thread. So if I can see just a piece of the thread and where they have it attached at, then I can open it up from that point. This is why y'all, especially when you're sewing for people, they think sewing is easy and just plopping down some appliques and making it look pretty. It's not that simple. And then God forbid if they had glued this on, that would have been horrible. Because there'd have been no way I could work with that if it was glued on. Okay, I'm still working from the bottom. You need to learn how to applique. Miss Jacqueline, I think I'm at the place now that I'm ready to start showing that, doing the online courses that I talked about, because now I've kind of cleared my calendar. I can kind of gauge my time and block off time because that's one of the things that I want to do is go from actually you designing a gown that you're interested in making and then embellishing it the way you want to. Okay, so I'm able to get up under there. So I don't know if you can see that. So that's the seam that I'm undoing, and that's the seam with the bodice right there. So that's the little applique piece that's kind of blocking it. So once I get this done, then I can go in. When I get to a place where I want to undo it, then I'll go in and kind of snip away at the applique. I just don't want to snip away at the seam allowance because I got to stitch it back to something. I got to join the bodice and the skirt back at some point. Okay, just a little bit of ingenuity. Like I'm almost there. Okay, I think I've gotten a little past. I'm gonna go a little bit further. Was down to where I pulled the lining apart. If I get down to that part, I'll be okay. Almost there. Okay. All right. So, I don't know if you can see it. Cut this here. So right there in between those layers, you can see where the lace, where the lace, the applique part is covering it. So what they did was they sewed the garment up first, and then they added this applique over it and stitched it down on top of all the layers. So I'm just gonna go in from this side. Okay. All right. So now it's separated. So I'm just gonna take that part that's separated. I'm gonna join them back together. Now you see this part where it's opened up at. This is where the lining was with the zipper. So that piece where it's opened up right there, I'm just gonna close that back together. May even just top stitch that. This is at the end of the zipper, but this is where here, let me just pin it in place so you can see it. It's making it hard for me to hold it. Gotta undo a little piece right here. Okay. Now that the zipper's not there, the corset panel is gonna drop down in that area. I may have to add lace ties in there, so I'm not gonna close it up right away because I may have to add loops down here. As a matter of fact, I probably will have to add loops to cover the corset panel down that far. Okay, but if there are loops there, the loops will be down here, and then I'll top stitch it. Okay, and this part will just be open, like I'll leave that just like it is, so it won't even matter. I top stitch that or just press it down. A lot of times you can press this tool in place and it'll stay, and it won't be a problem. All right, but outside of that, I am going to. This is all going to get gathered back together. I'm gonna add all of this. Actually, let me do this. I'm gonna detach that for a minute. So add all of these layers back together, and then this will get gathered back. I may even hand gather it back. 'Cause all of this, if I could just get up under there and tape that. The boning is actually stitched down in there, and I think this is stitched over it. If I could actually get in there and undo that part of it. Let's see if I can open up some of this boning and pull that out. If not, I think the boning is top stitched down on it. Yeah, it's top stitched down. So I have a choice of either cutting past that boning a little bit more, because basically this is going to get pressed down like this. And once I put that panel on, this will be stitched down. This panel on this side will be top stitched down, but I've got to add loops to it first. So I'm just going to do this like this. And I need to cut some of that excess out. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and there we go. I just need to open that up a little bit more. So the reason why it's important for me to take that boning out, because it's thick right there. It really don't need to be in there, um, because I'm folding it under, and I don't need any extra heaviness up under there. It's not serving any purpose, and it don't need to be visible up under there. So it's not letting me easily take this out. So I can just kind of go up under there, and I hate when I can't grab it. Trying to break threads so I can get up under it. And the reason why I'm trying to be careful and not to cut that area, because it's very close to the folded edge. And I want to have at least a little bit, maybe about an inch to fold under. So if I could go ahead and either break this or either pull that boning out, it would be it wouldn't be as hard in that area. That makes sense. Okay, so it's allowing me to get in there. Once I get up to, all right, so I just need to get past this point here. This part I can kind of cut away. Let me put these pins back where they were so I can cut. I don't want to cut across any pins. All right. Okay. All right. So I just wanted to have enough fold over right here so it'll catch once I put that panel in place and put the loops up underneath there. So that did it. It's a little bit more flexible. Thank you for the lights. I appreciate it. All right, so now I am going to hand gather this back to this point here. Because I don't really want to take it out. I just want to gather it back to that place. Yeah, I love working with gowns and stuff like that, but I get irritated working with big, lots of fabric sometimes. Because fabric don't stay put. Like you a lot of times don't have enough room to deal with a whole bunch of gown. Let me pull this back like this. All right. I need to fold this back. Okay, that goes like that. All right, so let me grab something that I can um, just quickly gather. And I'm using this light thread right here. Don't matter what it is. Usually I try to use a bigger needle, but I just want to do a temporary gather. So I can kind of see where I'm at. Anybody up sewing? Jacqueline, are you still in traffic? All right. All right, this is gonna go. Probably need to try to put the loops in first. Well, actually, I don't. Let's see, do I need to fold this on the first? Nope. I'm gonna fold this back a little bit here, more than what it normally would be. Simply because there's gonna be a big bow right there. And that's a lot of fabric to gather back in there. It'll be a lot to open that up. I have to do something I didn't want to do, and that was to cut this open a little bit more. I'll pin this here in place so you can kind of see. Okay, I'm gonna tie this off. So I get this out of the way. Take this ring back off. All So this has to go up under here. All that's folded up under. This top layer is just going to be open. Yeah, I think I'm going to end up having to um, cut this back a little bit. Just open this up a little bit so that I won't have all of this fabric um, in here. That's a little bit too much fabric, more than what I was expecting for it to be. But once I cut it back, it's going to look like that. Then I have this fabric here that I've got to make a big giant bow out of. Got to make a big giant bow, and then I've got to make the tails to go to it, and then the panel in the back. I got to make the ties, the lace up, and then I've got to do a swag around the arm. But the swag around the arm is going to be out of a tulle fabric like this. So yeah, it's gonna work though. It's gonna work. So I'm gonna go in and open up this other side. I'm not gonna do that while I'm on camera. I did the one side and you saw how long that took. So I've got to go in and carefully undo this side and open it up. I know I said we're gonna do this on camera. I'm just gonna open up the lining part since I'm looking at it. That was the easiest part to do, to open up the lining part, but delicately opening up that lace so I can get to it, that was the hardest part. So I'm going to do that while I'm sitting back, maybe catching up on something on Netflix or something, I don't know. But I'll go ahead and open that up. And once I do, I'll go ahead and get the corset panel in, add the loops to it so you can see what that looks like, and then go from there. All right, so, ooh, uh-oh. So that may be a part two or something, maybe tomorrow. Yeah, I just gotta remember to share pictures. I just gotta remember to share pictures, Tiana. So, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it. This is one of the ones that I'm ready to get done. Um, and then finish up a wedding gown that I just did that had like um let's see, five, three, had 8 bustle points to it, I think. And I'm glad that's all it was 8 bustle points. But it had 5 layers of hem, and they had the like this right here at the waist. This was that wedding gown. Well, both wedding gowns that I'm working on now has this lace at the end of it where I have to undo the lace, trim around it, and then reapply it. So those are my heaviest things. But anyway, I'm gonna get that done. Um, and then once I am finished with that, I will let you all know. Probably what I should have did, y'all, was just probably make life simpler. Probably should have just trimmed all the way down and then folded in the excess to this point. That would have made life so much easier, y'all. So much. So I'll see what I need to do to kind of take that back to where it was and then trim that down. But anyway, I'll figure it out. So I usually make life harder for myself, and then after the fact, think about, man, I should have did it this way. But we live and we learn, right? Anyway, um, I am at the hour mark, hour and 5 minutes actually. So I'm gonna go ahead and jump off so that I won't keep you guys too long. I don't want to. I want to stop doing these hour, 2 hour, 3 hour videos, right? So, anyway, Imma jump off now while it's still an hour, while I still got a little bit of glimmer in my eyes, I can see, and Imma do a little work. But I will keep you guys posted and let you know what my progress is, and, hopefully I can share I'm gonna try and share pictures of this dress. Um, and y'all, I did make a dress for Easter, for Resurrection Sunday. I'm debating whether to show it because I don't like it. I don't like it on me. I love the dress and I love how it came out. Um, but y'all, after seeing those pictures, that's why I decided Bertha got to go, and I got to do something about these punk arms. So anyway, let me go so I can get this done. I love y'all to life. Thank y'all for hanging out with me. Y'all have a good evening. And Jacqueline, if you haven't made it home, get home safely. Talk to you later.